So we're almost finished with Chapter 5 of Race and Ethnicity, and Chapter 5 deals with modes of incorporation. So we've done assimilation and we've looked at forms of multiculturalism, and now we're going to be looking into the area of transnationalism. So let's do that together. Let's go into full screen and we're going to just quickly summarize some of the main points made in this section of Chapter 5. The difference between assimilation and multiculturalism revolves around the fact that the former, assimilation, seeks to simply integrate, while the latter attempts to simultaneously integrate and achieve diversity. In this regard, transnationalism enters the picture, not as yet another mode of incorporation, but rather as a phenomenon that can tip the preferred mode of incorporation in the direction of multiculturalism. To understand why this is the case, we need to describe actually what transnationalism is, what transnationalism means. One of the hallmarks of the contemporary world is that we are in the time of globalization. So we have an interconnected world. Globalization theorists have spent lots of energy interacting with economic and political and cultural and environmental implications of globalization. Transnationalism and globalization, they're not synonyms, but they are connected concepts. Our concern in this chapter is with transnationalism and migration. We live, as some commentators have pointed out, in a world in motion. So the United Nations reported that in the middle decade of the current century, nearly 200 million people live outside the country of their birth. While this number constitutes a small percentage of the world's total population, it also represents a twofold increase from the course of the past century. One of the realities of the contemporary world is that it is far easier for migrants to maintain contact with their point of origin than was the case in earlier periods, including in the last major migratory wave in the late 19th century that ended around the time of the Great Depression. Whereas a century ago, immigrants had to rely on letters to make contact with friends and family, today it is possible through new information technologies. And we all know about these. The net result, according to those who have studied nationalism practices, is that a unique social field is often created that transcends political boundaries. And this is a space in which patterns of interaction arise that link immigrants to those that stay behind. The situations depicted in the figure to the left, the result is that immigrants are more likely to preserve aspects of their ethnic identity than otherwise might have been the case. Now, this is happening at the same time as those who have remained in the homeland been influenced by their friends who have emigrated and bring new ideas and ways of life from their new country. The core group that makes such a field possible are individuals who move back and forth between two localities with a certain regularity, living with one foot in both places. These individuals are bilingual, have an economic and sometimes a political stake in both homeland and destination. And so there are some examples of this offered in the book, which we will not have the time to deal with here. Transnationalism does not only involve those who move to and fro, it impacts those around both localities. So there was a study of Mexican immigrants in New York City from a specific town, and which had a satellite in Brooklyn, and he studied created the way in which these created a portable water system, paving and lighting in town square, building a primary school, renovated a church damaged by earthquake. This aspect of transnationalism links remittances, the sending of money and goods to people to economic development. The Mexican government has seen this potential and has attempted to both stimulate and control flows of capital by instituting what became known as the III.2 program, which provides $3 of federal and local government funds for every dollar donated by hometown associations for government-approved projects. Okay, so let's take a pause, and we haven't got much more to go. And I hope that you're enjoying this as much as I am. See you soon.